Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here's what we have in the bulletin.
NWC announces water restrictions starting Monday. Changes are coming to the primary exit profile PEP exams. And later in sports, Reggae Boy signs contract with top Israeli club.
Now the details. Water restrictions will begin on Monday as the National Water Commission NWC reduces water distribution. This decision comes in response to a persistent decline in rainfall across the island. Details in this report.
As at Thursday, July 17, the water level at Mona Reservoir is under 45%, while the Hermitage Dam is under 60%. Speaking on the morning agenda on Power 106 Friday, Acting President of the NWC Garth Jackson says the scheduled plan for water lockoffs will soon be made public. According to Mr. Jackson, this will be finalized and released later today or by tomorrow at the latest. Customers in the corporate area served by the Mona Reservoir and the Hermitage Dam will especially be affected.
Although the Mona Reservoir is at a lower percentage capacity, the volume of water which it holds is significantly higher than Hermitage. And so we have about 800 and just under 400 million gallons stored there. But it's fallen at about both of them are fallen to about 1% per day. And as a result, if we continue with the operating at the maximum production capacity, we're going to be very low come the next 2 months if we don't have any significant rainfall over that period.
Part of the NWC's plan is to also reduce supply hours.
What is going to be is that there's going to be restrictions from our quote-unquote usual 24-hour service to something less than that. Pressures may be modulated, may be reduced, and obviously the flows as I've pointed out. So you should see that release coming out anytime now, which should indicate to our customers how we will treat them. And that's basically in the Mona area, the area served by the Mona Reservoir.
The NWC is also urging households and businesses to conserve water where possible. Mr. Jackson also emphasized that the Commission is working to balance supply and demand fairly.
For just use a location above Dunrobin Avenue, coming from Constant Spring down to that those will be served in the nighttime period, whereas those below Dunrobin, or actually West Kings House Road going into Crossroad, Halfway Tree, those will be served in the day, so that the commercial customers should have supply when they are operating, and the residential customers who tend to have storage will have supply during the night hours.
To supply this effort, several mitigating measures have been implemented, especially in rural areas. These include increased trucking and the use of alternative sources where available. Nakinski Robinson, TVJ News.
To other news now. Changes are coming to the primary exit profile PEP exams. Details in this report.
Beginning in 2026, grade 6 students taking the PEP exams will have fewer testing days for mathematics and language arts assessments. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris Dixon made the announcement during a conference for principals and vice principals from Region 2 earlier this week.
What we are doing is for the grade 6 PEP, we're going to collapse the exams together. So you do all of your maths on one day and all of your language arts on one day. We're also going to shift the timing. So you're no longer going to have an exam in February. You will have your exams in April and May. So you have more time to deliver the content to the students.
And as for literacy and numeracy?
We do not test literacy and numeracy at PEP. PEP is testing the extent to which you've mastered the curriculum. It's a curriculum-based test. But invariably, many people look at, for example, language arts and say those who got proficient and highly proficient are the ones who are literate. And if you didn't get that, you're not literate. But that's not accurate, because PEP does not test literacy. And so what we do need to know as a country At the end of grade 6, how many children are literate and how many are numerate?
It is why she said a reevaluation will be done.
What we're doing is adding a few questions to the mathematics paper to test numeracy, and we'll add some questions to the language arts paper to test literacy. There will be nothing more for you to do. You don't need to teach anything extra. You don't need to have any new books for it. It's just some questions that we've added that just give us a touch point on numeracy and literacy.
Carrie Simpson, TVJ News.
A 3-member independent advisory panel presented its findings at Wednesday's building committee meeting. This following an investigation into the planning and development approval process at the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KCMC. The panel highlighted the need for greater transparency and efficiency, recommending key improvements to streamline approvals, reduce delays, and strengthen oversight.
I would say is getting access to persons. And also, as the report will show, we had 4 focus group sessions with various stakeholders. And I was disappointed that a number of the stakeholders did not turn up in those focus group sessions.
The report aims to guide policy reforms and enhance project management at KCMC. Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, welcomed the investigation and the panel's recommendations, signaling support for efforts to improve the corporation's operations.
So as a result, we had to do it for today at this meeting. We will be having discussions with the technical people, our staff, and examine all the recommendations. And in the near future, I'll be saying something more substantive on the report.
Crime data for Manchester has revealed a significant decline in murders for the year so far. This is even as reports of rape continue to rise. According to the latest figures, Manchester has recorded 100 murders since the start of 2025. This is down from 147 during the same period last year.
Murders, we have 13 reported in comparison to 21 for the corresponding period for 2024. This indicates a decrease of 8 or 38%. Shooting 12 reported comparing to 20 for last year. This shows a decrease of 8 or 40%.
While the decrease in homicides marks a step in the right direction, the police remain concerned about other troubling trends, particularly the increase in rape cases. So far this year, 8 rapes have been reported in Manchester compared to 6 during the same period last year.
Aggravated assault, we have 10 reports comparing to 13 for last year. This shows a decrease of 3 or 23%. Robbery, 12 reported in comparison to 17 for last year. It shows a decrease of 5 or 29%. Breaking, 44 in comparison to 48 for last year. This shows a decrease of 4 or 8%.
The police are maintaining a strong presence across the parish, conducting targeted operations and increasing patrols in high-risk areas.
While we are having decreased and only one area that is showing an increase, we still cannot be too comfortable and take things for granted. We all have to continue to work in partnership to ensure that we continue to keep Manchester safe.
Meanwhile, the Manchester police are refuting claims that a gang feud is behind the recent killings in the parish. They say while investigations are ongoing, there is no evidence at this time to support the reports.
Mr. Mitchell, I'm not aware of us having any gang feud in the parish as I speak, but we are having situations where we are having disputes where persons are still not able to treat with them amicably, and before they seek the intervention of some other stakeholders, they tend to take matters in their own hands.
State Minister in the Tourism Ministry, Delano Sivright, is doubling down on the government's stance that it will not be imposing taxes on Airbnb operators. His comments follow controversy over the tabling of the Jamaica Tourist Board Act.
The Act is designed to modernize and strengthen the Jamaica Tourist Board's institutional capacity and ensuring that Jamaica remains globally competitive while protecting our tourism product and preserving brand Jamaica and supporting the thousands of Jamaicans contributing to the dynamic and expanding sector. And the sector has expanded quite significantly, but it's important to know that the JTB Act does not legislate taxation on accommodations or any other enterprise. There will be no tax on Airbnb. It's not being contemplated.
The State Minister said consultations are ongoing.
At that recent parliamentary debate, we remain fully committed to continue engagement with all stakeholders so that the final framework, after further consultations, will be practical, it will be balanced, and it will be aligned with those shared goals of sustainable growth and development.
The Saintan Chamber of Commerce has officially launched its Youth Ambassador and Youth President program. President of the Chamber, Dr. Ransford Davidson, says the initiative aimed at empowering young people and steering them away from the path of crime. He also said the program comes at a critical time as more young people face social and economic pressures that can lead to criminal activities.
Young people are the catalyst of tomorrow. As John Mahama rightly said, they are our future change makers, carrying incredible potential and power. This is critically important as we seek to move youth forward and to channel their energy into the right direction.
The program will train participants in areas like leadership skills and community development. They will also be given real-world experiences to better equip them for the challenges ahead.
Civic engagement, community service, and advocacy is also a critical plank. Ambassadors will lead volunteer initiatives, mentoring, cleanups, and civic awareness campaigns. They will serve as advocates for sustainable improvements within our communities. Another important pillar is the youth presidency. The top ambassador becomes the first youth president of the Saintan Chamber of Commerce, serving a one-year term.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's now time for the Business Minute.
The Rockford-based Caribbean Cement Company says it plans to export 28,000 tons of cement to Caribbean markets starting next month. It follows the recent completion of its $42 million expansion plan. Managing Director of the company, George Martinez, says the plan will see a 150,000-ton expansion in production to 1.15 million tons annually. He adds that the company generated revenues of $27.9 billion last year, despite the fall in annual output of 950,000 metric tons due to the plant shutdown. Further afield, lawmakers in the U.S. have passed the country's first major national cryptocurrency legislation. It's a major milestone for the once fringe industry, which has been lobbying Congress over regulation for years and poured millions into last year's election, backing candidates that included Donald Trump. The bill sets up a regulatory regime for so-called stablecoins, a kind of cryptocurrency backed by assets seen as reliable, such as the dollar. Trump is expected to sign the legislation into law on Friday after the House passed the bill on Thursday, joining the Senate, which had approved the measure last month. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Kerry-Ann Simpson.
Time now for the top stories from around the world.
In the region, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has called for a renewed regional commitment to the CARICOM Development Fund. Dr. Gonsalves made the call against the backdrop that many countries are not contributing to the CDF despite its critical role in addressing economic imbalances within CARICOM. The CDF provides financial or technical assistance to disadvantaged countries, regions and sectors in the regional grouping. Press: the information will give ICE officials the ability to find the location of aliens across the country. The agreement was signed Monday between the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services and the Department of Homeland Security. It has not been publicly announced. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Nakinsky Robinson.
We take another break. Sports is next.